When Welcome to another interview in the PRSA College of Fellows Voices for the Future project. I am Greg Bailey, APR, fellow PRSA, and joined today by Philip Tate, APR, fellow PRSA. Welcome, Philip. Thanks for your time today.
Hey, Greg, always good to be with you.
Philip is the president of Philip Tate Strategic Communications, located in Charlotte, North Carolina. Philip has more than 35 years of brand building, strategic communication, along public relations, marketing, and advertising. So I know Philip would have been successful in any number of business, but he chose public relations. So the first question for you is, why PR?
You know, my career started actually in the Ole Miss press box. When I was about 13 years old, my dad was the financial aid director at Ole Miss. And I started going to the athletic department after school, after sports practice was over and stuff like that. And you know, they did everything they could to scare me away, researching records and going through baseball scorebooks. And I just kept asking for more and more stuff. So kind of cut my teeth and learned the business from that sports information, public information officer role on the college campus. And just really enjoyed it. I kind of thought I would either become a sports writer or maybe a broadcaster, or work in sports information or some role in an athletic department. And as it turned out, there weren't any jobs. Ended up going to Vanderbilt to college there in Nashville, where you are, and worked for 4 years there. But when I got out of school, there weren't any jobs. So went to work for at the time, kind of an up-and-coming sports marketing and PR firm in Lexington, Kentucky called Host Communications. And little did I know, I was climbing onto a rocket ship that became kind of the preeminent college sports marketing company in the U.S. So that's kind of how I found my way into public relations, kind of through the sports realm.
So you spent years in the agency business and now a few years as an independent practitioner. So is there one project, one client that stands out as your very best work that you can talk about?
I'd say the one that I probably worked with the most and the longest. A lot of people would look at and they go, gosh, that sounds like the most boring client I can ever imagine. But I found it to be enormously challenging and exciting. And that was National Gypsum Company. They're the second largest drywall manufacturer in the country. And it offered us a great opportunity to basically tell a story about something that everybody has in their home, but they don't really think about their walls. And so it created tremendous opportunity over the 25 or so years that I worked on that. We did all sorts of Silver Anvil Award-winning work, Addy Award-winning work. And it was a great testament to the power of public relations, but marketing, advertising, and really an integrated marketing communications program. And I'll always be grateful for the opportunities that they gave us to try new things and do different things. And I think our creative team for all those years would tell you we got to do some of the best creative work our agency ever produced, and it was with the most unlikeliest of clients.
Well, and in just the 25 years of working with one client, that's fairly rare in our business. So
that's true. I've been told that many times that doesn't happen very often. I think that's a lot of credit to the client also. I worked through 6 marketing directors and a number of different changes within the organization, but we really worked hard to embed ourselves in the business and understand the business, and they grew with us, and we really became what every agency strives for, which is being an extension of that team on the client side.
terrific. So you spent a lot of years as a volunteer for PRSA. You've had numerous roles, national board, College of Fellows. Talk a little bit about what being a member of PRSA has meant to your career.
It's meant everything, particularly when I was transitioning out of the agency environment to start my own communications consultancy during that pandemic summer of 2020. my PRSA network became the base for my business. All the people that knew me through that environment were very quick to refer business or to let me know of opportunities that they thought I might be a good fit for. So I've always considered PRSA to be my tribe, and I would say there's two people that were very instrumental in that. As I was coming along, one was Joe Epley, APR fellow PRSA, a former PRSA national president. He's the one who really kind of twisted my arm and encouraged me to run for the national board 20 plus years ago. And then the other one was a fellow up the road in Raleigh named Mike Herman, who worked for Joe Epley in his agency for many years. But Mike taught at NC State. He worked in some different areas than Joe did. And he's the one who kind of took me by the shoulder and said, you ought to apply to the College of Fellows. He was a past chair of the college as well. And I said, I figure I'm not old enough to do that. And he goes, well, then set your mind to being the youngest member who's ever been inducted then. And so I don't know if I was or I wasn't, but I was pretty young when I came in, and I think we've seen the evolution of the college in the time that you and I've been in it, where we're seeing more and more folks who are joining the college,
Sure.
maybe at a younger age, which I think is a nice thing because it gives you an opportunity to continue serving in a slightly different way.
Well, and it expands your network beyond, a PRSA section or your district of the Southeast or your local chapter, to where you have really a national network of people who are active, or if they're not active, they've got so much wisdom, you just are tapping that all the time. Talk a little bit about the membership in the college. And I think everybody who applies has a question about whether they really are going to measure up and get in. But what has that meant to you, being a member and also serving as the chair?
Well, it's meant a lot. It was something when I applied, I didn't know if I was going to get in either. And I think if I were applied again today, they might not let me in. But I think that what I found when I got here in the college was a really great community of like-minded people and folks who really understand how communications work, the important role that PR plays in business, in the nonprofit sector, on college campuses. It's a great cross section of all sorts of things that our members are part of. And I've been given credit for saying mentoring is the calling card of the College of Fellows, but I really believe that. I think that our group plays a foundational role within PRSA as a resource for members who are looking over the course of their career continuum. How do I continue to grow? How do I keep getting better at what I do? How do I expand my network? How can I help others who are coming up behind me in the same way that the Joe Epley and Mike Hermans in our profession helped me when I was coming along?
Talk a little bit about, because you worked in an agency that was really a 360-degree communication firm, and sort of that's where our profession is now. What do you see what are the biggest challenges ahead for practitioners in, say, the next 3 to 5 years?
I think really embracing that notion that communications is kind of the umbrella, and there are a lot of things underneath that umbrella. My friend Jenny Dietrich up in Chicago, coined the PESO model, which really outlines paid, earned, shared, and owned media. And I think it's wise for practitioners to think about that model when they consider what's best for their clients or what's best for bringing products to market, handling reputational issues, crisis, what have you. I think that's a good foundational thing to think about. So I think it's beyond what a lot of people probably still associate with PR. It's so much more than media relations. And media relations has never been harder than it is right now. And I don't see it getting any easier, but I think there are ways that we can connect those publics that are so important. And it's by opening up the lens a little bit more and figuring out some other ways to reach those new and different audiences.
So in 2023, You received the College of Fellow Sage Award for mentoring. You mentioned mentoring as the college's calling card a second ago, and you've been a champion for mentoring for a long time. So, what advice would you give someone who's considering our profession as a career?
Well, I think what I learned from Joe Epley and Mike Herman is pay it forward. Someone helped you somewhere along your journey or along your path. You should have the same mindset and the same attitude for people who are coming up behind you. I think it's extremely valuable for folks to build a network outside their workplace cocoon. You know, I think it's very easy to get really very myopic and nearsighted about what I'm dealing with today in my business or in my corporate setting, my nonprofit setting, my agency setting. You're worried about what you've got to get done and knock off your to-do list on that particular day. But I think it's to your benefit, and it's becoming even more essential that you need to have a network beyond the workplace because as we found during COVID, as we found at different cycles in business, communications people are expendable. They may be let go because they cost too much. They can be replaced by a couple of younger people, or just as the business demands, you have to cut staff. So if you don't have a network beyond your workplace cocoon, you could be in trouble. You could have a hard time finding where your next opportunity, challenge, or job might be. And from my own personal experience, if it were not for the extensive coast-to-coast network that I built during all my years of PRSA volunteer service, I can only imagine what my independent life might have been. Because the clients that I work with literally are all over the place, and I love that. So I'd say the main thing is PRSA is that tribe, is that group of people that has been very, very good to me. And so I felt obligated to give back to it in any way that I can.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Philip, and have a great rest of your year and appreciate your time.
Thank you, Greg.